Most of us come to religion to find a way to fulfill our desires. So you go to this particular Devata, God, pray this and give this, then this particular thing will be taken care of. You go to Ganesha, this will be taken care of. And for our convenience in Hinduism, there are so many departments and departmental gods also. Ministry, then there is cabinet, then Ministry of State, everything is there, all neatly worked out. So you can go to different people and your different requirements will be taken care of. Most of the people come to religion for their material needs. Swamiji says, there cannot be a shopkeeping religion. Oh God, you give me this, I will give you that. So, this devotee who was shopkeeping with God, so he climbed a palm tree. Have I told you this incident earlier, story? He climbed the palm tree, went up, and I think I've told you anyway, because you do not remember. So, he went up to the palm tree and looked down, and he was terribly afraid. Then he said, oh God, save me. Let me go down to the ground in one piece, not in pieces. So that was the prayer. And then he came down. Then he said, no, the height is... Then he said that I will give you one full cow sacrifice. One full cow. So then he came down a little. Some 25% was covered. Then he saw, no, cow will be too expensive, see. So he did some cost-benefit analysis and understood that cow will be too expensive. Then he said, oh God, I will give you one goat. Then he came 50% over. Then he said, now I will give you one hen, one chicken. Chicken I will give you. Because you see, I am such a poor person. Where will I get money for one goat? Then he came down and he was in one piece. Then he just killed a mosquito and told, thank you, God. One mosquito. So, machhar. So this is the shopkeeping we do generally with God. So people, you see, they forget. Sacrifice.
And he came down with then a goat, then he please relieve, and you can eat yourself.
Why? Anyway, the idea.
Again, the stomach pain came. Then he said that you know everything, you don't know the joke. I was joking. Please relieve me.
This is good. So the idea is same. So you see, this is what happens. This is what happens. We do shopkeeping. So some time back, a person, I was talking to a person, and that the person told that her son was hospitalized. Immediately she remembered that when that son was born, you see, she had prayed for something, and that did not take place, that he will go to Tirupati and do something. So now she remembered, and so same thing happened with Swamiji also. Swamiji, when he was getting ill in 1900, I believe, 1900 or 1901. So he was getting ill now and then because of diabetes, etc. So Bhuvaneshwari Devi, his mother, remembered that she had prayed when he was a young boy that he will go and do Anga Pradakshina, means he will roll across Kalighat temple. And she said, maybe I have forgot that, and that is why you are getting this. So Swamiji actually went. He went to the Adi Ganga, took a bath, and in this wet cloths did this kind of circumambulation. That's what it's called in English, Anga Pradakshina, and whole body. And then he did it for 3 times. But it did not improve his health anything. So this is what, generally we go to God for our desires because we are full of desires. So what happens for such people? Akratuhu pashyati. Tam akratuhu pashyati. That's what the last mantra said. That people who do not have desires see. But people who have desires, what do? What is their condition? This mantra says. Oh, this is Anu. You see, Anu means atom and this Mahata, cosmos. So both spectrums, I had already explained this. We see many galaxies, etc. That is also part of the same reality. And this is also part of, actually there are no parts, there is only one reality. Because of our ignorance, we see this.
Is it like a fractal?
Huh?
Is it like a fractal?
No, it's not a fractal. It's not like a fractal. Asino duram vrajati, shayano yati sarvatah, kastam madam devam, madanyo nyatum arhati. Asino duram vrajati, shayano yati sarvatah, kastam madam devam, madanyo nyatum arhati. So you see, asino duram vrajati. What happens to people who are full of desires, ordinary people? Asina duram vrajati. So, when they are sitting, it's put in a figurative language. When they are sitting, they want to understand this self, this reality. It appears as though it goes beyond the grasp of these people. That is what happens. You see, when ordinary people, they want to meditate, they sit, they want to control the mind. So the mind is not coming under control. It goes all over the world, is it not? All over the universe, and you run behind it. So you are stationary, you are sitting, asino. Duram vrajati, but the mind is running all over the world. Why? Because you are full of desires. You are full of desires. Asino duram vrajati. Shayano yati sarvatah. And if you are sleeping, you get dreams. You are sleeping in Kharagpur, you get dream that you are in New York. It can become worse actually. You get dreams of places where you have never been. You have never been. And this dream and all these things, they are interesting study. There is something called as extrasensory perception. I know of people who can, years before they actually go to a place, they can tell. So there is a person who saw many nights, night after night, a statue of a young deity. And in that statue, this nose ring, from there, flame kind of thing was coming. It was like a flame. And the statue was very beautiful in a temple. How the temple is made, everything, very vividly. For the last, not even 10 years, for the last 13 to 14 years. This woman is seeing this dream and wanted to go. So she asked me, do you know of any temple like this? So I know of only one temple like that. And when I went to the temple first, I saw the temple, I could not believe. Because here, if you see, here as though there is a lamp, oil lamp here on the nose ring. But it is not an oil lamp, it is a nose ring. And that nose ring has got a diamond which is so brilliant that from distance it appears as though there is a flame. Kanyakumari temple. It's a Kanyakumari temple. And this woman is seeing this temple, whole architecture, everything for the last 12 years. And recently she went and saw the temple and she saw exactly the same thing. It happens. Aisa bhi hota hai. In the good old days when Doordarshan was the only channel, there used to be a serial called Aisa bhi hota hai, all these miraculous kind of things. Or Ripley's Believe It Not, how many of you have known that? So many things which are very fascinating, wonderful things they used to show there. So extrasensory perception. There have been studies about near-death experience. Religious behavior and spiritual experience is the name of one book which Advaita Ashrama has released recently. Why? Because we should know what is the scientific basis, if at all there is a scientific basis, of spiritual life. Because you see, spiritual people are very much similar to mad people. You will all agree with that, is it not? Huh? All these sannyasins and all these people are very much similar to mad people, is it not? Agree? Why? Scripture itself says, Balavat, Unmadavat, Pishachavat. So see, with whom they have been equated? With children, Pishachavat, devils or ghouls, ghosts, and Unmattavat, with mad people. So it's very difficult. Opposites look alike. So is there any reincarnation, rebirth? Is it possible? Has it ever happened? Is there any case study? So there was this woman called Shakuntala, who was reborn in Mathura, and she could tell everything of her previous birth. And that was the time long back. Then Mahatma Gandhi was there. So he asked the government of India to make a commission, and a big commission of more than 15 people was made. And they analyzed that case and found that yes, it is true. So there have been many other studies. There was this Edgar Cayce who had a big organization. That organization is still there, Edgar Cayce Foundation. They used to study the previous births of people and see how people can remember these things. And they have a huge file, huge record. You know how Western people have this whole thing about observation, data collection, etc. And that is true. But there is another thing, a big hoax according to me, which is happening. What is that? I will not say medical treatment, parapsychological treatment based on this. Whether it is only purely psychological, I don't think there is any empirical backup. What is that? Past life regression therapy. MCA does not come into picture at all. MCA does. Even psychologists don't fall under the purview of MCA. Yeah. In fact, people are being duped. So how can a person tell you? In fact, you will remember all your past births. There is no way to verify this. You see, that's why this book was more important, because you can believe only in things which can be verified. Verifiable truths. Spirituality should be verifiable. If Katha Upanishad says this, you follow this, you will also get the same result. Buddha, what did it say? Buddha said, do not believe because somebody says so. Do not believe because it is written in some books. Do it yourself and find out. So Katha Upanishad gives you a pattern, a structure, a path. It will take some time, but if you follow, you will also get the same results. How do you know that this person was there or not? So in those examples which I have told you, or which have been put in that book, there were huge commissions of which included people from law, from police, from medicine. They analyzed that case from different angles and came to a conclusion that it is true. They in fact published a report. So then you can accept that yes, it is true. Otherwise not. Simply you are put on a couch in an AC room and you suddenly think that you were somebody in Europe, some big emperor. Everybody will think. Put me on a couch, I will think I am a freedom fighter. I was a big Mughal Badshah. What is there to think? How do you know that this is not fantasy? Is there any way to prove this? Is there any way to verify it? If there is no way, then it is total hoax. But some more people, it seems, get benefit. It's like those placebo effect. So if it works, okay, let it work. I have no problem. Couple of my friends told me that they went to this past life regression therapy and somehow they had. But one of them had all his 10 fingers, of course you cannot wear a ring here, so 8 fingers full of rings. I said, first throw these rings and then I will believe that you have got your confidence. So most of the people, if you see, they will have all kinds of rings. These are all stupid things. External means to have confidence. You never attain confidence like that. If, there was a legend that Azharuddin used to take Nizami biryani before going for an important match. And the day he could not get the biryani, he used to fare very poor in that match. So like that.
Ramakrishna, he really likes Shraddha. And have you seen any person
Yeah. What do you mean by extraordinary?
Extraordinary that we don't believe usually. Don't see usually, normal.
No, like I told you, this extrasensory person is also extraordinary power, but that person cannot use that power as that person wants. So she sees dreams when it comes. She has no control over that. Some people have some powers which they have control over. Yes, I have seen such people. Some person told that you go, your problems will be solved, and all around your house neem trees will come. So suddenly within few days, and for this proper protection was done day and night to see nobody comes and actually plants it, because this can also happen, you see. So nobody planted it, but suddenly neem trees came. So these kind of powers people have. So what is the, like Sri Ramakrishna gives the example, a person did tapasya for so many years, austerities, and then what? Could walk on water. So you give 2 pies and that boatman will take you. Why waste so much of time and energy to achieve something which you can otherwise get? So if you want to go by to New York, catch Jet Airways or some other thing, American Airlines. Why do you want to spend so much of your time in that? But if you want to go beyond death, then we are talking something.
There are some persons that even they can read mind. Have you seen some?
That's what Swami Vivekananda was asked the same question. He said, we have heard that you can read your mind, read other people's mind. So can you read mine? So he said, why should I bother my mind with all the garbage which is there in your mind? What is the purpose? Even otherwise there is so much of tension. Why increase the tension? Swamiji told it very simple. He said, first you make your mind free of all thoughts, then just concentrate on the other person, all his thoughts will come to you. Try following that. No, try following that. First make your mind free of all thoughts. There itself you are beaten. Kastam Madamadam. Now you see, Yama and Nachiketa, they suddenly take themselves to a privileged class. Very privileged class. What kind of privileged class? Say, we are people who know about the self. Yama says. So by this time, Lord Yama thinks that Nachiketa also knows about the self, Atman. But after reading, I don't think I know, and I am sure you also don't think you know. But by this time, already Yama thinks that we, that is me and you, Nachiketa, we know. We know. Here, of course, in one translation, it has been translated as I know. So Yama says, I know. I know the Atman. So what is that? Kastam mada amadam devam madanyo nyatum arhati. Because people are full of desires, they don't understand the Atman. When they are sitting, the mind seems to, or the Atman seems to run away. When they are sleeping, it seems to go everywhere. So they don't understand it. So what Yama is asking is, Yama is asking another question. It says, he says, Kahatam mada amadam devam. Who can understand that mada means joyful, amada means joyless. So you see, joy, sorrow, everything is there in the Brahman only. So who can understand? Madanyo nyatum arhati. Who has the capacity? Arhati means who can. Nyatum, understand or know. Madanya, apart from me, who can know? It's like an egotistic statement, but it's not egotistic. What Yama wants to say is, I am the knower of Brahman. So other than knower of Brahman, who can know? But there is also another interpretation. Apart from self, who can know the self? Apart from the Atman, who can know the Atman? So you have a tube light. Tube light gives you light. But who gives light to the tube light? When light comes from tube light, through which light do you see that light? Tube. Tube light's light only. You don't need another light to see that. No. Similarly, Brahman does not need any other light to see it. It is only Brahman that can see itself. In one song, Kali Kirtan, What is that Bengali, those Bengalis? Swayam na bujale, ami ki bujite pari. So your form, can I understand if you do not reveal yourself? Can I understand you in a dualistic sense? The devotee tells to mother that, mother, can I understand your true nature unless you yourself tell me? Similarly, Brahman cannot be understood unless Brahman understands. Atman can be understood only by the Atman. So, Madanya, apart from me means the Atman. Only I can understand. Mada amadam devam. So, this is a figurative expression. What is the devam here? Brahman. There is no devata. Brahman. Brahman can be understood only by the self. Only Atman can understand Brahman. Why? Because Atman and Brahman are essentially the same. They are not two different things. They are the same. So only Atman can understand the Brahman. Then comes the next mantra. Ashariram sharireshu anavasteshu avasthitam mahantam vibhum atmanam matva dhiro na sochati. As I told you earlier, please memorize all these mantras which we are studying today. Katha Upanishad means only very few mantras are repeated again and again, and all these mantras are quoted again and again. Ashariram sharireshu anavasteshu avasthitam. Sharireshu ashariram. What is Brahman? You are saying Brahman. Brahman, does it have a body? No. But then you say that Brahman is manifested as all these bodies. All gods, all insects, plants, animals, everything is what? Bodies. What is the essential nature of them? Brahman. But Brahman, does it have any body? No. So because of ignorance, Brahman, it is as though Brahman appears as bodies. But this bodies, without Brahman, there will be no bodies. Without the rope, there will be no snake. So this Ashariram Sharireshu. Brahman is as though existing among bodies. Are you getting the idea? There are so many bodies, but there is only one Brahman. So one Brahman appearing as many bodies. So Ashariram, Brahman, without body, bodiless. Sharireshu. Anavasteshu avasthitam. This is all impermanent. Body is impermanent. This is impermanent. This is impermanent. Everything you see here is impermanent. But Brahman is permanent. Brahman is permanent. And what do you say? There is only one reality, Brahman. But all these things, impermanent things, are all because of ignorance. Brahman plus ignorance is equal to universe. So you have to understand this. Sharireshu ashariram. Anavasteshu avasthitam. Avasthitam means permanent. Avasthita. Anavasteshu, among the impermanent. Among the temporary, permanent. That is Brahman. And among bodies, bodiless. That is Brahman. Mahantam vibhum atmanam. And how is this? What kind of Atman self is this? Mahantam vibhum. It is great. You cannot define its boundaries. There is no boundary. Infinite. Vibhum. And it is all pervasive. It is everywhere. What you should do? Matva. You should think of this. Matva, we know what are the 3 steps. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. You hear, you contemplate, and you meditate upon. So Matva means all these 3 things. You meditate upon them, upon this all-pervading Mahantam Vibhum Atmanam. You meditate upon this Dhiro na Shochati. And one who meditates like this, Dhiraha, steadfast, continuously, and also wise man, So if you meditate on the Atman, what will happen? If you constantly, you have it as a practice, we should do something very practical. Simply listening to lectures, nothing will happen. You may get sleep, that's all. But that is also important. Nowadays many people don't get sleep. So, what you do? Every day, morning, you devote 5 minutes. Do some meditation. Try to do meditation. Evening also, before going to bed, 5 minutes. You should give this. Why? Our mind, body, we give so much of matter. You see, body we eat, put so much of cosmetic, this soap, that soap, body lotion, deodorant, everything. And after that also the body will be smelling. That's a different thing. But still you spend so much of money and all that. You spend so much of money for your studies. I believe you spend. Some may not. But what do you spend for your mind? Nothing. You go to a place, your body is infected, your mind is also all the more infected. You listen to so many things which are injurious, poisonous to your mind. They say only smoking kills, it is injurious to health, and they put all this big skull photo. But nobody tells you that some thoughts are injurious, and they are more injurious than smoking. Some thoughts, self-deprecating thoughts. तुम्हारे द्वारा किच्ची हवा ना. You cannot do anything. तुम क्या करोगे नालायक? That's all. Useless. What do you know? Most of our professors begin their class like this. And sometimes the expertise of the professor is directly proportionate to the kind of expletives they can use in the class. The more scolding the professor, they say, कितना अच्छा professor है. बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाते हैं, बहुत गाली देते हैं. So I had a physics teacher. He used to, in school of course, he used to write in the blackboard, and without looking back, he used to take the chalk and he used to exactly hit it at the forehead of the boy who was talking, without looking back. Kind of superstar. He became immediately superhero because of this, not because of physics knowledge. So tung. I also got it once. So what is this? Suddenly from somewhere it will come. Tung. So this is what? This is more poisonous. This is more poisonous. So we need to give time for the mind so that we can clean it of these impurities. Just like we use the Dove soap or whatever soap is that, whatever you use to clean your body. Similarly, people can have all kinds of fascinations. You see, earlier when I was a small boy, I used to see only 2-3 types of toothpaste. Close-up was relatively new. Colgate and some Sibaka type. Now Sibaka is not there at all. So this thing. Now you have Sensodent, this dent and that nitrogel, this gel and whatever. Means all kinds of complicated toothpaste. Why? Because it will not give you cavities, it will not give you this thing. Recently, some months back, I went to a dentist. He is also a monk in our Belur Mutt. He is a dentist also. And he saw my teeth and he was going on seeing the teeth. Saying, Maharaj, your teeth. I thought, I was totally worried. I thought my teeth has got some cancer, pyorrhea or something. But what he meant was, my teeth is so nice. He said, how can your teeth be so nice? I have never come across such nice. I said, nothing. My mother told, after taking food, you wash your teeth properly, put this, this thing, which God has given you. Nicely rub your teeth and that's all. Nothing should remain, that's all. I do that and it's okay. So he said, the color is so nice, and he was like fascinated. Love at first sight. Dentist, no. So when you see a dentist, he will always see your teeth. A barber will always see your hair. A cobbler will always see the shoe. No, it's a fact. So dentist was in love. Similarly, so many things. And then they do this floss. We never saw flossing. It's all fascination. Because something is available in the counter, you have to purchase it. Arey, what? Not necessary. And with all this, if you ask the person to open the mouth, full of cavities. And you give sugar cane, they cannot take it with bare teeth. You have to cut it and peel it and then give them. Even mango, they peel and eat. And people who take non-vegetarian food, they cannot even crush bones. Forget about goat's bones, even chicken bones they cannot crush. So what kind of teeth do they have? With all these chemicals, no effect. So these are all just fascination. So what is being told here?
So this meditation on what?
Meditation on the actual nature of your body. Actual nature of yourself.
You said 5 minutes morning, 5 minutes.
That's what. Actual nature of yourself. What are you? If you have been initiated, then you know what to meditate on. But if you are not, then what are you? Are you this body? Are you this mind? So what I am telling you is, you are given so much of poison for your mind, but we never clean our minds. We use so many toothpaste, we use so many soaps to clean our teeth, etc., etc. For mind cleaning, there is no time. So this 5 minutes is for cleaning the mind of the impurities. Cleaning the mind. Think you are pure, because you are pure. You are not the body and you are not the mind, so you are pure. Think that you can do everything, because you can do everything. Actually, it is a fact. Because if your nature is Brahman, can there be anything which you cannot do?
Brahman doesn't have any activity.
Yes, but if Brahman is manifested in full power, Brahman does not have activity. But if there is a manifestation of Brahman, everything will happen. So, you have to, that is what? There is something potential, your divinity. But when it becomes kinetic, it will become perfection in work, perfection in relationships, perfection in life. But our thing is only potential, it never gets manifested. So, spiritual growth will be inwards. Swami Ranganathanji used to tell it, I paraphrase it. Outward, it will be satisfaction in work and service to others, love for others. That will be the outward manifestation of your inward spirituality. See, spirituality is not something dead. Spirituality does not mean that you become dead. You become dynamic. That is what is spirituality. People think that you will not talk to anybody. That is the beginning step. But you become dynamic. You become vibrant. You become loving. You become more serving in your attitude. That is true spirituality. Spirituality does not isolate you from others, but it actually makes you broad enough to take everybody within your fold. That is true spirituality. So this, how will you understand? How will you attain? By giving those 5 minutes morning and evening. Then again, the Upanishad says, see, this is the body, all of you know, so because we have been talking too much of. Now you see, there is a shloka in Gita. Dhiro na shochati, that is what the mantra said. Dhira, intelligent people do not worry, do not make sorrow, they are not afraid or they don't worry. So Gita, what does it say? So Gita, Krishna was scolding Arjuna. Anarya jushtam aswargyam akirtikaram Arjuna. Klaibhyam masma gamapartha. A very bad type of scolding. Today if we scold, you will beat that person. But then Arjuna scolded, nothing happened. Arjuna was scolded, nothing happened. Krishna, you see. Klaibhyam. Spineless person. So, in that series of scolding, he said, what did he say? Ashocyan vanva shochastvam. Ashocyan anu shochastvam. Pragyavadamsha bhashase. Gatasun agatansunscha na anushocanti panditaha. Huh? What slok? Same slok. Ashocyan anushochastvam. I am breaking that. Ashocyan, for those who should not be grieved for those whom you should not worry. Anushochastvam, you are anushochaha. Anushochati means you are grieving, you are worrying. Pragyavadamscha bhashase, and also you call yourself intelligent. So what happens? We are all intelligent people. So I have told you earlier also here, a scientist who is working in United States of America, US of A, and that scientist lost a car. So she is a big scientist, that's all right. many papers published, and really good scientist working in the field of diabetics to find out a medicine for diabetes. Yes, good. That all these things I understand. But lost a car. Somebody stole. And actually I have more complaint with that person who stole the car, because that car was unfit to be stolen. Lost the car. Then this lady, she keeps on crying for 3 months together, I lost my car. I lost my car. So I said, you have read Swami Vivekananda. Since childhood your house was filled with monks. And what is the benefit now? You are crying for a car. Really? And what does it cost? $7,000. So your peace of mind is so cheap. $7,000. Everyone has a price. That's what they say. Everyone can be bought. Nowadays it's a big reality. But you should keep your price tag above, no? Why? $7,000 really, said, and crying, going on crying. My car was lost, my car was lost. Finally they found the car, only the body. Other things were all removed. So you see, what the idea is, asocyan, this is something you should not worry for. Once something was broken, and what did Holy Mother say? She said, those things will die like that only, don't worry for that. If you have a flower pot will not fall ill and die. You will not admit a flower pot into ICU. It will break and get destroyed. So don't worry. Asocyan. These are all things you should not grieve for. Body will die. Don't worry. Anushocastvam. And you grieve for it. And also you call yourself a scientist, intelligent person. Prajna vadamscha bhasaste. Gata soon. Going. A person who goes. Agata soon. A person who goes and comes. Na anushochanti panditaha. For them, people who are wise people do not worry. In Hindi there is a proverb. Subah ka khoya agar sham ko वापस लौटा है, उसको खोया नहीं कहते. Means a person who is lost in the morning and comes back in the evening is not a lost person. Similarly, gata soon, he is born. Agata soon, gata soon is died. He is died. He is dead. He has died. Agata soon, again born. Janana Marana Chakra. For that you don't grieve, because Atman is not going to die. Na hanyate anyamane sharire. A person who knows that will not grieve. So, you are worrying most of the time for things which you should not worry for. So now the next mantra is, this is very important. As I said, Katha Upanishad or any Upanishad or Vedas, they again and again tell that what you are studying is totally useless. Totally useless unless you are going to practice. Unless you are going to actually put it in. So whenever you deal, whenever you talk, whenever you walk, whenever you sleep, always just remember one thing. You are not the body, you are not the mind. Don't even question this, just remember, that's all. You don't question sun rises in the east. But does sun rise in the east? Does it? Sun does not rise. Sun does not set. But this is what we always know, sun rises in the east. Then you will ask that I have to verify everything. Go, take a shuttle or whatever and go and verify. Does sun actually rise or set? No. But you have this. Similarly, we have a working hypothesis. You might not have realized it, that the body and mind is not your true nature, but have a working hypothesis. Without a working hypothesis, no experiment, no equation, nothing can be done. So I have a working hypothesis to begin with, that you are not the body and you are not the mind. And practice this. Think of this. Do something. Just listening to lectures will not do. So next time you try to, not only you, the other person is also not the body and the mind. So next time you try to tell the other person something based on the fact that you consider the other person as the body, then you will immediately correct yourself or try to correct yourself. Think. When you say, many people are not liked. Why? Because they are not good to look at. They are ugly. So generally we want to see beautiful people. That is wrong. Because you have immediately put the dimension of that personality at the body level. So people who get some diseases, their face gets damaged, people don't want to see. People who are physically challenged, we don't want to see. People who are spastic, we don't want to see. We don't want to mix with. That is wrong, because you are attaching importance to the bodily. So everybody wants to be around with cheerful people, but nobody is actually cheerful. We want cheerful people, but we ourselves are not cheerful. You are again doing a mistake. You are attaching the personality to the mind dimension. Always think, who is this person? This person is, each soul is potentially divine. He or she is actually a divine being. Then automatically your behavior will change. You will not treat badly anyone, irrespective of education or looks or wealth, everything. So this we have to practice. We have to actually practice in our day-to-day lives. You have to think constantly that I am not the body, I am not the mind. When you can do away with certain luxuries which you now think are necessities. You don't actually need AC all the time. You don't need big mattresses all the time, curl on or whatever. So you can do away with them. Aparigraha, that is why this aparigraha, because you can understand what exactly your personality is. Is your personality at the body level? No. Slowly you can. Unless you practice, you will not understand about the scripture. That is why the scripture says, Nayam Atma Pravachenena Labhyo. Nayam Atma Pravachenena Labhyo. Na medhaya na bahuna shrutena yame vaisha vrinute tena labhyah tasyaisha atma vivrunute tanum swam. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo. You cannot understand this Atma, this self, your true nature by lectures. So what you will do, you will stop coming to these classes. Don't do that. You cannot understand, but you can understand by na medhaya, also not through intellect, na bahuna shrutena, also not through reading lot of Vedas. Lot of books you read. All kinds of books, you will not understand. So many people are there, they have huge books of cookery, cooking books. They have huge, they don't know how to cook. But these grannies or mothers, they don't have any books, but they cook. And it's so nice to eat. So the taste is so wonderful. One thing I can tell you about cooking, because I also cook and other people say that I am a good cook. So cooking is something which you learn from your mother. You cannot learn cooking from anybody else. You learn cooking only and only from your mother. You can learn it directly or indirectly. Your mother cooks, you know the taste, you remember the taste, flavor, everything, and then you enter into cooking. That is one way. Or your mother teaches you directly cooking. But cooking cannot be learned by any other method. This is the thing. And Swami Vivekananda used to say that if a monk can cook, he can become a good monk. But it is not the other way around. If you can cook, you cannot become a good monk. Anyway, so like that, just by reading cookery books, you cannot cook.
From YouTube?
No.
Yes, I can give you some good.
Yeah, maybe you were a good cook otherwise also. For a good cook,
Also from my mother.
For a good cook, these things can help. But you cannot just learn cooking by books. Na bahuna shrutena. Yam eva esha vrinute tena labhyah. Means there are 2-3 kinds of interpretations for this. Vrinute. The self is understood by those to which the self reveals itself. I gave you the example of that Song, Swayam na bojale ami ki bujite pari. I'm forgetting the exact song. It comes in between some song, Kali Kirtan. So if you don't reveal yourself, can I understand you? It is not possible. Similarly, self cannot be understood unless self reveals. Vrinute, self reveals. Or one another reading can be chooses, the self chooses. But how can it be? You are the self, so how will self choose? The idea is just like a tube light is seen from the light given by tube light itself. Similarly, self can be seen only through self. Atma vivrunute tanum swam. And Atma reveals itself, its own tanum, its own body. Means Atma does not have a body, its own nature, swam. Itself, it's self-revelatory. So people who have seen this James Bond movies or espionage movies, you will see that they are what called self-destruct programs. Or something comes and it will automatically destruct itself. Doom, it will go up. So similarly, it is self-revelatory. It reveals itself. But you cannot understand it through studies, you cannot understand it through lectures, you cannot understand it through intellect. This is the thing.
But the pure intellect and pure mind can be.
Pure intellect means again, that means you should be tamakratu, akratu. Akratu means you should not have any desires. If you have any desire, then your intellect will not be pure. So any questions? That is one meaning. Any question? So everybody has understood. So from today onwards we can practice. It's my request, give 5 minutes morning and evening, and always think that you are not the body, you are not the mind. So you are something higher than the body and the mind. This you have to have in your mind. And it immediately will see what a big difference it brings in your day-to-day activities. Thank you. So no questions, no?
But it contradicts Brahman Sarvabhutani Yantrarudhani Maya. Then why do I do so much labor thinking myself? Somebody is driving me. So
No, not that somebody is not somebody other than you. You are that somebody. That Yantrarudhani Maya, that person is actually you. By removing the activity. In Ramana Maharshi's language, be as you are. This is the title of biography of Ramana Maharshi, famous biography, written by Osborne, I think. Yes. Be as you are. Means what? It's very mystical kind of statement. Means avoiding all the desires, removing all the desires, calming our senses. So automatically there will not be a outgoing activity, but avritta chakshuhu, inward activity. And that will lead to knowledge of Brahman.
Swamiji, that I am not the body or mind, I think it is better to have that I am the observer of my body.
So that means you give a existence to your body and mind.
I am the observer.
That means, what will you observe? You will observe only what exists. So if you give a entity, you are saying that body and mind is there, I am observing it. No, body and mind is not there. That is my whole point.
Next step will be that.
There is no step. I'm not asking you to, even if I tell you realize Brahman, immediately you will not realize, don't worry. Swamiji in Jnana Yoga lecture says that we are so afraid to give up our individuality. IN-DI-VID, that is how he writes it. He says it and that's how it is written. We are so afraid to give up our individual egos that these type of questions come. Nothing will happen. Just think, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. I'm thinking for the last 18 years. Nothing has happened till now. But I am very sure I am not the body and the mind. Even when in the midst of the sleep, if you call me and ask, I am very sure. Intellectually I am convinced, but I have not got that palpable realization. So there is no point in clinging on to your individuality. One, and second is, where is your individuality? Who are we? The whole big cosmos. This was what Swami Gambhiranandaji used to say. What is Swami Gambhirananda? Big galaxy, so many galaxies, in that one galaxy, in that one solar system, in that one planet, in that one country, in that one city, and in that small one Dihi Entally road, in that Advaita Ashrama, and in that one small, it's not even a spot. So that which you are so much afraid of giving up itself is nothing actually.
The first separation is subject object, and then again in the later stage.
You don't need to separate because already you are separated. You already consider yourself subject and you objectify things, don't you? Because this is something you use, this is something you use, you are seeing me. That subject-object relationship is already there in your mind. That is by default. Manufacturing, original equipment. No need to actually cultivate it.
Stage will be that within the object you will know that the subject only.
Next step, that's what I am telling you. There is only one step to take to understand that there is no object, there is no snake, there is only rope, there is only subject. Because always we deal, dvitiyad vai bhayam bhavati, we always deal in that duality, no? So we don't need to actually cultivate that we already know. What you are talking about is Sakshi Bhava, but Sakshi Bhava, how will you practice? Immediately you have to see something which, you have to be Sakshi of something. So that will again create problem, it will take you back to that subject-object duality. So what we have to understand is that we are not the object, there is no object, we are the subject. Even intellectually to understand this will take a lot of time. And then it will slowly reflect in your behavior. So slowly, say it will take about 7-8 years for you to understand this, and slowly it will reflect in your behavior. And slowly it will get ingrained in your consciousness. Like people, it will become a reflex. Like people who practice cricket. Cricket, when they start practicing, they say, I will put like this stroke, they read so many sketches and that. But when they actually play, it's a reflex.
So what will the change in behavior? Less selfish or more magnanimous? What will the change?
That's what. Selfish you will become less, because selfish is connected with your body and mind. So when you say that you are not the body and mind, you are convinced, you automatically will become less selfish.
Can anybody be convinced with just assumption? If he is convinced, he has to realize, then only he gets convinced.
No, there are two things.
Assumption, why believing?
No, there are two things. This is very common. Like I am convinced that there is a planet called Mars. I am convinced. I have not seen it. Even in material things it is there. Is it not? I am convinced about the electron. Has anyone seen an electron? Actually, physically. No, we have not. But we are convinced. All of us are convinced about electrons. So similarly, here also conviction comes. It comes.
If you give the example of Swami Gambhirananda, that we are a small part of the solar system, then
No, he's not small part. What he said was that body is nothing. Individuality is nothing.
then we can go the other way, that I am bigger than an iron molecule, much bigger than an electron, proton, much bigger than an electron. So I'm going, it's bigger than, so smaller than smaller. We go the other way. So we are bigger than
Yeah, you can do. Anor, Aniyan, Mahato, Mahiyan. If you think yourself bigger, yes, Atman is very big. Yes, you can do. Sri Ramakrishna gives this example that there are two kinds of fish. One is so big it cannot be caught in the net. Another is so small it will get past. So Nag Mahasaya is so small, he will become small, 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 and he will get through the gaps of that net, holes of the net. And Narendra, Swami Vivekananda, is so big that it cannot be caught by Maya. Yes, if you can do that. But most often than not, we try to have this illusion that somehow we can have this big idea. It is very difficult. It's very difficult. Most often than not, more often than not, it is confused. You confuse ego to be this. It's not that easy.
Some of us are convinced that Brahman is only one.
Huh.
But that is what Advaita says.
Yes.
But no one can prove it.
No one?
Can prove it.
No, you cannot prove. Just like you cannot prove the taste of a mango. It's a subjective experience.
So then why did some great saints or people say
Because it is there. Just like the taste of mango. For example, the taste of mango is there. Mango tastes sweet. The sweetness can you prove? You cannot. Similarly, but it is true that mango tastes sweet. There is a sample, and in that sample everyone says that mango tastes sweet. Similarly, everyone who has followed this sees the same result, but that result is a subjective result. Just like watching a movie. You may like a movie, I may not like a movie, but the movie I can watch. Both of us can watch. It will lead to the same climax, but different review. Is it not? No. Movie, once it is made, no, climax is same. But your understanding of the climax will be different. That's what I am telling. Like in a movie, what you will get or you perceive will be different. But the climax is same. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says all jackals howl exactly the same way there. After realization, everybody will say the same thing, but in different languages, different expressions. So why? No, this is not only in Hinduism. You see, Christianity, you take Islam, everyone says the same thing. How can all people be univocal, equivocal on a topic? Because it is true, but only thing the way you experience will be different. Subjectivity of the experience varies. Just like it varies for the taste. Some samskaras, you see, sanskara, bad also is a bondage, good also is a bondage, but just like reading scriptures can help to understand the self, similarly, good samskaras can take you forward to understand yourself. Yes, that is true. So suppose you have a samskara, you constantly think of this. This is also samskara. You think of the Atman, you think of Upanishads, you meditate. But slowly it will lead you to that. But after that, Sri Ramakrishna again gives the example. You read a letter. Somebody wrote you a letter that you have to purchase these things and send it. So you read that letter. After you have understood the contents of the letter, you don't need it. You simply throw it. You purchase the things and send it. That's all. Similarly, till you understand the true nature, till you understand it, this samskara will help you. But after that, this samskara also should go. Otherwise, it will become a bondage. Very clear? So, no other questions? Thank you.